Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to No Limits Living, where every week you get tons of tips and tricks and information and inspiration for getting a body and a life you love. A no limits life for living your dreams. You'll want to take notes, so grab a pen and paper. I'm Liz Bull, and I work with energy, which is what makes no limits living possible. Well, what in the world is that? Well, energy is tricky to define, yet we do recognize our experience of it. Have you ever noticed that you feel really great around certain people and not so great around others? Or you feel different when you hear certain kinds of music? Or maybe there's a space you've been in and it felt great. And then there have been others that's like, ugh, get me out of here. These are experiences of energy. And when you become aware of energy and work with energy in your body and your mind and your spirit, your whole life transforms. To repeat, it makes limit-free living possible. Miracles happen. You become in alignment with your true self, no matter what's happening in your life. And you live your life optimally, fulfilling your true purpose. You live a life you've always yearned for in all domains of your life, your health and weight, your relationships, your finances, your vocation, not just your job, but your calling, And for the majority of us, this does not happen on its own. We cannot become ourselves by ourselves. We need help. We need help. And that is my work. That is my work. And that's exactly what this show is about. How to live a limit-free life. And I'd like you to just imagine that, what your life would be like if there were no limits. Take a deep breath and take that in. Now, today, I'm going to share with you someone who kind of came into my limit-free living life on, are you ready for this, people? A cruise. A cruise. Yes. Cruises are a part of my limit-free life. And this particular cruise was for people involved in marketing. Yay! People who could actually talk about something of interest, something of substance, things of substance. How can you get help from each other? How can we nourish each other? How can we collaborate with each other? That's what this wonderful cruise is all about. And it's just amazing because it's, excuse me, a lovely mix of business and pleasure. A lovely mix. Yay, the best of all possible worlds. Because some of us, like me, like yours truly, I don't sit still really well. I can't lie on the beach for hours and hours. I get bored. Some people can do that, and God bless them. I'm happy for them. It's just not me. So I love this cruise because it's a nice mix of, well, I can spend 15 minutes, getting some sun, being in the pool, and then I get to talk to fabulous people. So today, you lucky, lucky people, you get to meet one of them. This is Jennie Bellinger of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. And I have to tell you, for women, direct sales is, well, it's magic. It's a kind of magic, isn't it, Jennie?
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
amazing what it does for people. I've seen it everything from transforming people into a better version of themselves as well as like literally saving lives.
Mm, mm.
I mean, amazing. Amazing.
So tell us about you, because you've got quite an interesting history, as I recall. Jennie and I had a wonderful dinner to another limit-free living. Oh, yeah.
The food. The food.
The food. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. So, a little bit about me. My history is I grew up as a military brat. So, I've lived all over the Midwest, not all over the world, kind of the most boring military life ever. But the Midwest is wonderful. And I ended up in the middle of the country. I'm here in the St. Louis area. And for a number of years, I was a middle school science teacher. And then I took some time off when I had my oldest child, who is now 14 and a half years old. And I wanted to be a mom and I wanted to actually spend time with my kids. So I was lucky enough to be in a position where I could take that time off. My husband at the time made good money, so I was able to be a stay-at-home mom for a while. And then I, like you, started getting itchy to go back into the grown-up world and not be, doing Barney and Paw Patrol 24/7. So I started trying to get back into teaching, and unfortunately, it was in the middle of the recession that was happening in 2008 to 2012-ish time period. And so I went on 18 in 1 year, 18 interviews, and heard no 18 times. They want
Wow.
they wanted me, but they couldn't afford me because I was a teacher who had experience, and I was always up against the brand new college grad. 18 times. 18 for 18 times up against the new college grad. So they could afford the new college grad. That was going to save them $10,000 to $15,000 a year. So I finally, after the 18th no, said, okay, universe, obviously being back in the classroom is not where I'm supposed to be. So where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? And 2 days later, an invitation to a direct sales event showed up in my mailbox. Back when, you actually got like snail mail with a real invitation.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah. Now, here's the crazy, because of my ADD, I had totally forgotten that I had asked the universe to send me like where I was supposed to go next. And I just saw
Hmm.
it as a chance to hang out with my mom and my best friend, and so I brought them with me. And my husband at the time, I was always the perennial hostess for parties, meaning because I was a stay-at-home mom, I was like, well, I want to get my stuff for free or for half off or whatever special was going on, right? And so my husband said, don't book a party. I'm sick of getting kicked out of the house. And
Calling.
so, yeah. And so I said, okay, fine. I won't book a party. Well, I show up at this event, and it was for a company I'd never heard of, for products that I had never seen before. Is it okay if I share a little,
Please,
like,
yeah,
okay.
please tell the
So
story. Love
it
it.
was, yeah, so it was Park Lane Jewelry, and I had never heard of them before. This is 2010. So they'd been around for 55 years at that point in time, but I'd never heard of them. And I was like, what? Really? Seriously? I've never heard of this. Like Mary Kay, Tupperware, Avon. I had heard of these. They'd been around for just about as long, some of them not as long as Park Lane Jewelry. And I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. But I completely fell in love with the stuff. And I was like, I have to have a party. I want all the things. I want all the sparklies. I want the necklaces. I want the earrings. I want the bracelets. I want all the things. And so my mom said, well, just have the party at my house. That way you don't have to kick Ben out.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks,
Well, then,
Mom. Save
but
me.
yeah, by the end of the event, they were like, and we have an amazing business opportunity for you. And it was amazing. I was able, because it was the middle of the recession, to start my business for $5.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
went, oh, oh, universe, this is why you sent me here. Oh, and I'm sitting there looking around the room going, why isn't everyone running to the front of the room? Because they literally said, we have stuff up here, you can come, sign up for your intro party and sign up to get started. And it was me and 17 other women who walked to the front of the room. Now there was 150 women there. 18 of
Oh, wow.
us, 18
Wow.
of us saw the possibilities and went for it. And I went for it, and I now, to say that my direct sales journey was perfect would be a lie. you know, Entrepreneurship is a roller coaster, and it's one of those. Oh, have you ever been on one of those roller coasters where they're spinning you around at the same time as they're taking you all over the place? Or have you seen those?
Yeah, they kind of make me sick just to think about them.
Right. Well, that's what the journey of entrepreneurship is like, right? You're getting spun around because you're trying to figure things out. There's highs, there's lows, you're like, everything is going on around you. So I had times that I was not like super perfect in my direct sales journey, but in the end, I ended up making it number one in the company. My team made it to number one. They made it to number three in the world for group sales. I mean, just all of the things. I earned the trips, the cars, like literally every little check box that you can check for, is this person
Fantastic.
successful? I tick all the boxes. As they like to, well, since you just came back from London, I tick all the boxes, right? so so that was my direct sales experience. And about 5.5, 6 years into my journey, I remember going to one of those um regional rallies, that they have where you're in a room with like 100 other women, 150 other women who are there as part of your team, and they're giving training and the inspirational stories, like a mini version of your conference, but like close to home, right? So, and it's
Mhm.
one night, right? And I remember looking around the room and going, okay, 5 of us were here 5 years ago.
Wow.
What makes us different?
Mhm.
Because we all have the same comp plan, we all have the same products, we're all getting the same training. What makes us different? What's the difference between the 5 of us who are still here and the 95 to 100 other people who had come and gone in and out of that room over 5 years? More than 100 people. I mean, it was hundreds of people who had come in and out.
Yeah.
And that's what started me on the journey towards coaching, because just started talking to rock stars, to badasses in the world of direct sales. So not just at Park Lane Jewelry, the company that I was with, but started talking to people in other companies, because I just wanted to know what made us successful, what we thought made us successful, what the difference was. And over time, I learned it's a big conglomeration of things. I wish I could say, oh, it was just this one thing. Oh, no, no, no.
Mhm. Mhm.
But so that's my story, and that's how I moved into coaching, and that's a whole other thing.
So tell us about the things. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about this, mix of stuff that made you successful and um, badass
Yeah.
compared compared badass compared to the rest.
Right.
What did you do that was different? Because you don't look any. I mean, you look like a pretty ordinary woman, and I don't mean that
Yeah.
in a negative way.
Right.
But
No, absolutely.
you're not Julia Roberts.
No.
You're not. You're not
Right.
same. You're not right. I mean,
Exactly. I
you're a
have
Midwesterner.
well, exactly. And here's what's crazy. Like I said, we all started with the same kit. We all started with the same comp plan. We all had the same stuff. So what was the difference?
Yeah.
What I noticed was the difference was how quickly some of us jump into action.
Okay.
We're willing to make mistakes to learn from them. We are
Mm.
coachable. We seek help, we seek mentorship, and then we do what our coaches and mentors ask us to do. Um we are lifelong learners.
That's a big one.
We
That's
did
that's
not yeah, I mean, the big thing that I noticed, and this was, like I said, across the board from multitudes of companies, and now that I've been in coaching for over 6 years, full time, what I've noticed is this is still the case. The rock stars are the people who keep learning. They don't think th've learned everything yet.
Mhm.
They want to know more. What's that next piece of information that's going to tweak my process, tweak my conversations, tweak my relationships to move things along more smoothly, faster, with more confidence, whatever it may be. We're always out there seeking and learning. And like I said, and implementing, because
Tell me, that's an interesting one. So what keeps people from implementing? And what sorts of things will people kind of resist implementing?
I think in a lot of cases, what keeps people from implementing what they've learned is they feel like they don't know it well enough. So there's a fear of making mistakes.
Mm,
When it comes down to it, anytime people are not doing X, Y, or Z, it almost always comes down to a version of fear of failure, fear of success. they show up the same way, but for different reasons, right?
Yeah.
So I think ultimately it's they either have fear because they don't want to be seen in a negative light. Oh my gosh, somebody saw me fall on my face and make a mistake, whatever it may be. There's fear around it. And I think that holds people back from implementing. I also think too, what keeps people from implementing is I think it's the lack of faith in the process
Mm.
or lack of faith in themselves.
Mhm.
Because, oftentimes companies or leaders are giving little bits of information at a time. They're like, okay, go do this. Because they're testing to see if the person's going to do the thing, because they don't want to sit there and say, okay, here, they don't want to overwhelm them with the whole here's how
Mm.
you do this. I need you to go do this thing first. Right. And if they don't take the first step, well, then it doesn't matter if you show them all the steps. Well, the problem is some people want to see the whole staircase before they take the step, in Martin
Yeah,
Luther King's words.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I get that. I tend to be like that. I want to see, I want a big picture first.
Right.
I want the big picture. Tell me where we're going with this thing,
Yeah, and some people
I
can
like
handle that.
maps. I like maps a lot.
Yeah. And some people can handle that. But
Mhm.
the key is, can the leader identify the people who can handle seeing the whole picture and seeing the whole process, and the people who just need the next step,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
that's another big difference in those who are successful and those who aren't, is the leadership aspect. When if someone is not a leader, they're not going to do well in direct sales. And that doesn't mean that somebody has to have like a 1,500 person organization. What it does mean is they have to at least be willing to lead themselves.
That's a great distinction, because leadership is, I think, one of those terms that's it's bandied about a lot these days and not particularly well understood.
Oh, yeah.
You
Oh,
know, not well understood at all.
and which is totally crazy, because there are so many books and programs out there that can teach people leadership. I mean, I love helping my coaching clients in their leadership skills and building that, but I'm always looking to improve my understanding of leadership and effective leadership and how to do that. And so, there are so many amazing options out there. I mean, frankly, John Maxwell is known as the leadership guru. So, he's where I direct all of my clients to. Like, if you want a book, if you want to,
Good luck,
like,
Maxwell.
John Maxwell, like, he gets it like no other. Like, he truly understands leadership and shares it in a way that is very easy for people to digest. And then I'm able to help my clients and take what they learn and actually implement it. So here's how you put this into play in your business and with your team, and frankly, like I said, with yourself.
So tell me, in this journey of becoming a successful business owner in direct sales, what is typically one of the first steps?
Mm.
What's the thing you do first? What's that thing that they give you to do that everybody goes, oh, I don't know if I can do that.
Oh, the first easiest thing is the list build,
Okay, the
right?
list. Okay,
Build, write a list, make a list,
so you're
right?
making a list of what? What are you making
They're
a list?
making a list of people that they know. So that way they have people to a list of people, because a lot of people think, oh, well, I don't know anybody. But once you start writing names, it's amazing how many people you really do know.
Mm,
And once you start that list, you can begin to kind of take a look at, okay, how do these people fit in my life? How do I think they might support my business? And this is true. I don't care if you're in direct sales, network marketing, MLM, or in a more quote unquote, I'm putting air quotes around this, traditional entrepreneurial journey, right? This is true for coaches. This is true for people who are making and inventing and selling their own widgets or whatever, right? You've got to make a list to know who's in your life, to know how they can support you in your journey, because some people's support is just going to be something as simple as not disparaging your journey.
No small thing that.
Right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think what holds people back from making the list is that they're afraid that their leader is going to say, okay, now go sell to all of them.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And sales for most people is scary and uncomfortable because they don't know how to do it right. They really don't. And so because the leaders aren't beginning to shine light on the next step and saying, okay, here's why you're making the list. They're not sharing the why for the list. They're saying, okay, go make a list. Well, then people's fears start bubbling up. Oh no, you're going to make me sell to all of these people. Not necessarily. Well, at least a good leader is not going to have you go sell to all those people because not everybody is your customer.
No, no, by no means.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So but it's understanding and part of the list building piece, and this is like I said, this is true for all entrepreneurs. You've got to know what resources and tools you have available to you. And people in your life are resources. You just got to know what type of resource they are.
Mm, hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. How do you distinguish out the kind of resources?
I think the key is to, of course, people are some of them, but also understanding, okay, what else do I have available to me to learn, to grow? Where can I go? How can I build a network of people? Because again, I don't care what you sell, I don't care what your service is. People are going to be a part of your business, either as referral partners, customers, in the world of direct sales and network marketing, they're going to become your team members. But if you don't have a growing network, and if you don't know what your available resources are, what do I have at my fingertips? Well, I've got libraries, I've got the internet, there are online courses, there are podcasts, there are YouTube channels. Like if people don't understand that they have all of this at their disposal to help them to figure out what they're doing in their business, then it's going to be really hard to be successful because they're going to think they don't have anything. And people have way more resources than they think.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. When you first got into this, what was your vision?
That's a great question.
What were you thinking?
For
Because the show is all about limit-free living.
Right. Well, my initial because we all have that initial gut reaction of, okay, I just don't want to fail. Like that was my first
Oh,
gut
wow.
reaction.
Okay.
But then when I started really thinking about it within a few days, I think even, especially once I went to my first training to learn how to do this business thing because I had been a teacher before. I was a stay-at-home mom. I didn't know how to do business.
Yeah,
And
I get it.
oh my gosh. And so for me, after going to that initial training, I really started to dream. And my vision was I wanted to get to the top.
Okay.
And
And
I wanted
what was that going to do for you? I'm just curious. What was getting to the top going to do for you? Or you just wanted to be at the top?
I'm kind of competitive. Just
Okay.
a little bit, just a little
Okay.
bit. I'm saying that quite
No, I'm just
sarcastically.
always curious about what motivates people.
Right.
Being in
Well,
business for yourself is work.
yeah, no, absolutely. So for me, being on top was going to mean that I was going to be, for me, it was going to be validation, right? Like, okay,
Okay.
I've done this, I can do this. It was going to be, internal and external, a combination of both types of validation. It was also going to, if I was at the top, I knew that I'd be making a lot of money and contributing to my family financially the way I wanted to. I wanted to be a part of that contribution. I also wanted to be a role model for my kids.
Mm,
I wanted to show them, hey, if mommy can do this, so can you,
I love it. I love
you
it.
know?
I
And
love
so it- that's all I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more things that would come in from being on top, but those are my three mains, and maybe not in that order, but
No, no, it's interesting because coming from the, the education and teaching background, I keep thinking about gold stars.
right.
I want the gold
I
stars.
want the A plus. I was that
A
kid.
plus and the
Oh
gold
yeah. Can
stars.
what extra credit can I do?
Yeah, yeah. I want that 4.0 average. Oh,
Yes.
you bet, you bet. I totally get it. And I will share with you that, whenever I get something done, like on my list, like I got to get it done today list,
Yeah.
I have a collection of stars I give myself on my agenda. Stick it right there. Like,
Good. Right? And because and that's a hallmark of success. You recognize what keeps you motivated,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And lots of people, and especially in direct sales and network marketing, they don't know what motivates them.
Yeah. No,
There's the belief that money should motivate them. And what I have found in my years of research now, and especially because one of the things that I've done in my coaching journey, because I continue to be a lifelong learner myself, is I have become certified in a process with one of my mentors, and it's the You Don't Know DISC process. And
oh
so,
yeah, DISC, yeah,
yeah,
DISC. For those
yep,
of you
DISC,
who heard it,
DISC.
ISC, yes. You're either an E or
Yes.
you're an I or you're an S or you're a C.
Well, you're actually a little of all
A
four,
little, yeah, but I guess
right?
it's
It's but
predominantly, yeah.
Right, but most people are predominantly 1 or 2, usually is how they show up, but, um, what I learned in addition to DISC is I also have a values assessment that goes along with the DISC, and so the
That's great.
values
That's important. That's
oh my
really
gosh, and the values are what actually help us understand what motivates people, because what you value is what's gonna be motivating, and what's interesting is so far, because I track this for everyone who takes the disc with me that I know is with a direct sales network marketing or MLM company, 87% of direct sales consultants are not motivated by money. 87% of them, it's
I'm sure that's absolutely true. And you know what? Years ago, I was a manager of training and development. I worked in human resources for a large bank, and I did a lot of that kind of work, right? And study after study after study, in terms of compensation plans and all that, people by and large really don't care about money. They don't. They really don't. They care about being acknowledged. They care about being recognized, congratulated for being a good, doing a good job. All those sorts of things is really much more powerful than the paycheck. The paycheck is like almost incidental.
yeah,
It was
exactly.
fascinating to me.
Oh,
Fascinating.
yeah,
Fascinating.
and
Yeah.
I find it really interesting that my number seemingly correlates with the statistic out there for the turnover rate in this industry, which is
Oh,
90%.
well,
Nine
that would be right. That would be right.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
think about what the companies are putting out there and teaching their reps and their leaders to say to bring people into the business. They're saying, come in it for the income, come in it for the money, have an extra stream of income. They're talking about money, 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 money.
At the end of the day, it matters.
And
Doesn't matter at all.
at the end of the day, 87% of them don't val don't have money as a
Has to
top
motivate.
3 value or
Yeah.
motivator. It's in the bottom 2 for 87% of people.
Oh my God.
They
Yeah.
should be talking about helping people. They should be talking about gaining confidence. They should be talking about learning. They should be talking about work-life balance. They should be
Right.
but they don't.
No, they don't. I would love to. We could go on all day on
Oh
this.
yeah. Oh,
They're
I
gonna,
really
they're
could.
gonna get, they're gonna get the hook in exactly probably about 40 seconds at this point. So I just want to. Okay. So Jenny, do you have an offer? Is there anything? Do you offer anything? We didn't talk about this. Oh my God, that's terrible.
That's totally fine. No, I actually, if people want to know about their disc, I do offer a free disc assessment. My assessment is totally free. So they can get that by going to badassdirectsalesmastery.com/free disc. And they can take the assessment absolutely complimentary on me because I want people to know what motivates them.
Love it. Thank you very much for that. And if you'd like to know more about me, just go to lizbowl360.com. lizbowl360.com. All righty, let me just stop this.